So here I have this absolutely monstrous monkfish. These are classed as predatory anglerfish, as they use their luminescent antenna to lure fish into their enormous jaws. You might remember this from a popular scene in Finding Nemo. For a fish of its size, they have these cute little fins underneath. Monkfish is often described as the poor man's lobster. This is because they have similar textured flesh. Despite their enormous size, only their tails and cheeks actually have any worthwhile meat on them. You wouldn't want to pay around £18 a kilo for, say, a 3 kilo fish, where you only have a yield of 1 kilo. This makes finding a whole one with its head on quite difficult. How to prep a monkfish. So you want to start by removing the cheeks. So now the cheek's off, you just want to remove the silver skin here. Use a chef's knife to get right through the spinal bone. Be sure to save the head for stock. So you want to remove some of this thick excess skin. You want to turn the fish onto its side and then slice as close to the bone as possible. So as you can see, we have the fillet that's just come off and there's very minimal waste on the spine. So you end up with these two absolutely gorgeous fillets. So here I have this incredible cock crab. This is otherwise known as a male brown crab. They have the most intimidating, powerful claws that will crush through anything that gets in its way. So the reason you buy a crab live is to do with the quality of its meat. Potted and tinned crab meat comes with a really fishy aftertaste, whereas freshly cooked crab has a really clean, sweet tasting flesh. This guy is not happy. So this is exactly why you shouldn't film content with live animals. We're looking at rock lobsters today and I'm just going to run through a demo. To prep the cooked lobster, I'm just going to start by removing its legs. Give it a real good twist. Just be sure to remove the intestinal tract to peel out the amazing tail. So it tastes quite similar to Maine lobster. I'd say the flesh has a lovely sweet taste and it's extremely delicate. 100-year-old eggs. This is a Chinese delicacy known as a century egg. Has a bit of a sulphury aftertaste coming through, which is weirdly really pleasant. So the green yolk I thought was going to taste a bit like blue cheese, but it doesn't. It's just really creamy and almost smoky. So here I have some of the highest quality live razor clams. You can check that they're alive as they should react to a gentle prod. They get their names due to their resemblance of an old-fashioned straight-edge razor. These are popular with foragers as it's really easy to spot their burrows on the beach. They look like small circles. You can pour salt in and they pop out of the sand like that. So these are frogs' legs. So frogs obviously have really plump thigh muscles. This is because of the amount of work they do when hopping and swimming around. So to prep the legs, I'm just going to start by splitting them in half. So I'm just going to remove this tendon at the top. And what you end up with are these lovely little froggy lollipops. So I've just seasoned the legs and coated them in some flour. You'll know when these are cooked when they go a really lovely colour. So I'm serving the frog's legs with a really vibrant green parsley puree. And now I'm just adding some garlic puree. This is a super classic French recipe of frog's legs, parsley and garlic. Here is a gurnard. Gurnards kind of look a bit like their names. Let's call this guy Bernard. Bernard the Gurnard. Interestingly, over time, Bernard's barbels have changed into legs. This gives Bernard the ability to crawl along the seabeds. Bernard has this pretty solid curved head. He'll use it to dig under rocks to find crustaceans to feed on. Take care when filleting as they have these spikes hidden everywhere. I like to start by removing some of these fins. To get a serrated knife and cut under the fin near the tail. I like to hold the tail and work my way up. Once you get to the top, just turn your knife. And then you want to just sever the spine. Secure the head tightly with a cloth. This now all comes off nice and neatly. And we're left with this lovely tail. A good pinch of salt to keep the seasoning police at bay. And I'm now just going to pan fry the tail. Just turn it onto the front. Butter to bring out the flavour. It's a beautifully cooked piece of fish. I'm just going over with a good squeeze of lemon juice. Gurnard has a really lovely mild flavour. It can hold up to stronger flavours to pair it with. This would be great marinated in some spices. And I've also seen a lovely recipe online serving over sage butter. These guys have the ability to change their skin to the colour of the seabed. This is a wild place, known for its eye-catching red spots. The red spots make up part of its complex camouflage. They spend their days swimming on the bottom of the ocean, feeding off marine worms. When thinking of eating place, look no further than frying it. As you can see, it has a natural line going down the middle of it, cutting down beside the head. Remove the skin. It's just been through some flour and egg and onto some breadcrumbs. Give it a couple of strokes in the oil so it doesn't stick. You just want to place it away from you. This will stop yourself getting splattered with hot oil. This needs a generous amount of salt and a good squeeze of lemon juice.
From monkfish to live razor clams, this chef definitely has the strangest meals for dinner. We can't say we'd be rushing to try any of these, but it is super interesting to see just how different monster-looking foods are cooked. Speaking of his strange dishes, that century egg that he ate is actually quite a good source of protein. With only 92 calories, it provides 8 grams of protein. Who knows, maybe we'll start indulging in the odd 100-year-old egg. Actually, maybe not. As always, thanks for watching Cooking Wild.